Om Gyanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Sridhara Maharaj is known as the Jolly Swami. Jagtang Maharaj was saying how Sridhara Maharaj was mostly very serious with him. He was mostly like that with me also. He also had a very heavy side to his personality, yes. I first went to Bombay in 1977. I was there for one day, and I spent the next 12 years in India and that part of the world, but I didn't go to Bombay again until 1989. And since that time I've been in and out of Bombay frequently. So 89 was also the year I accepted sannyas from Jagtang Maharaj. So I had a lot of interaction with him, on and off over those years, because he was also based in Bombay, of course.
You mean Maharaj Sridhara Maharaj?
Yeah. Sorry. So when I as a new sannyasi, and Sridhara Maharaj took it upon himself to educate me about being a sannyasi. Quite different to Narendra Maharaj's experience. He was pretty heavy.
You want?
Any little minor infringement, he'd let me know about it very clearly. It's all in parampara, yeah.
Shiva Parampara.
So, after some time, I think either he was satisfied with the training he'd given me, or he gave up. But after that, he treated me like, in a more, not that he was unfriendly before, but it was in a more jovial manner, you could say. So that was after this initiation. There's another meaning to the word initiation also. There's another meaning to the word initiation. Sometimes when you're admitted into some club, they give you like a very heavy treatment, and that's called initiation. So after that, he was always very friendly with me, but as an elder brother always. And many times we spent time together, talking together. He described himself as a company man, which it's a phrase which means someone who's dedicated to the company. Dedicated. Someone who's it means an employee who's dedicated to the company.
Sense, because it has another connotation in Russian English.
Yeah. Now, it has sarcastic connotations in English also, but he prided himself on being a company man because he saw Prabhupada. This is Prabhupada's company. It has pejorative connotations in English as someone who's like they join the company and they see my interest is in being with this company, so they identify themselves with the company. But it has pejorative connotations in English generally because the company is just, its business is to exploit others, so he joins that business of exploiting others for promoting his own interests. But he identified with himself with Prabhupada's company, so that's to be a company man for Prabhupada's company. Prabhupada's company is to end all exploitation. So several times he spoke with me his various as a company man. He was concerned about various problems and difficulties in the company, especially in Bombay, which being a flagship center of means like a leading or a prominent center. It has a lot of its internal problems also. And I would just come in for 2-3 days and everything would look wonderful to me, but he would like fill me in on things behind the scenes. And once I came in and I said to him, Maharaj, you look a little tired. No, I said to him, look, you're a little tired or sick? So he said, yeah, I have hepatitis C. I never heard of that at the time. Yes, I said, yeah, I had hepatitis before. It's really heavy. I was out on the bed for 3 months. And he explained, it's a little different. It means that when it becomes active, then you're finished. So he didn't really expect to stay very long. And his reaction to knowing that he had this was one thing to he was very concerned with medical treatment so that he could go on serving. And the other thing which he did against all medical advice was to increase his traveling and preaching intensely. On one side he was taking a lot of medical treatment, on the other side he was just traveling all over, preaching. He took on this service of raising funds for the Mayapur project. And at this time it seems to me, from my subjective vision, that he at that time, when this sickness it came to him, then he started taking very, very seriously, or his attitude changed a bit, seems to me, like that.
You mean Maharaj, he started taking seriously his disease or his preaching or what?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'll go on. That he took it as his main service. He actually told me that once, and I see my main service now as just being with the devotees, encouraging the devotees, and like giving himself to the devotees. And he especially spent a lot of time in Slovenia and Croatia, where our movement was in a chaotic state. Not exactly chaotic state, but in a distressed and disturbed state after the departure from our movement of Harikesh Maharaj. So he was really the right. He was taking medicine. He was the right medicine for the devotees there, really, because Harikesh Maharaj had a huge zone, and I think he only went to that area once many years ago, and his disciples didn't really know him, and he was a very what's the word? For most of his disciples, he was a very distant kind of figure. Deified and distant figure. Sorry, I'm using difficult. Deified means. You think it's all right to say this? Well, I don't know. In this part of the world, and in the rest of the world, we're very open. We speak very straightforwardly among our devotees. Maybe. All right. Anyway, Sridhara Maharaj was very, very personable with the devotees. He lived with them. He had time for his son. He was very, very sympathetic, and devotees really, really, really loved him. They really reciprocated with that. And like I said, he's a company man, and he trained his disciples like that also, more by practice than by precept. About a month after he left us, I met some of his disciples from that part of the world in Bombay, and I asked them, is everything okay? How are you feeling? They said, they told me it's not nearly as bad as it could have been. For one reason is because we were expecting Maharaj to pass away at any time for so many years anyway, and another reason is because we have the big ISKCON family. We can take shelter of that. So it was a shock for me when Maharaj passed away, because I'll tell him. I went to see him a few days after Gaur Purnima in Mayapur. Yeah. And I reminded him of something he told me, because I'd said to him something like, you have to keep a place for us there. When you see a Prabhupada, offer obeisances on my behalf, something like that. He said, well, I might not be going before you. He told an incident where in London, Mahavishnu Goswami had a stroke, and he's old, his body is old, so devotees thought, that he's probably going to be passing away soon. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj at that time had visited him and said, you please keep a say a word to me for Prabhupada, to Prabhupada. And Mahavishnu Goswami had said that, well, you know, I might be going after you. And as it happened, Mahavishnu Maharaj recovered his health. So I didn't really expect. We spent. I was with him when we were discussing what he was going to do and how he was going to go to America.
When you met him last time, right?
Yeah, this was like 3 days after Gaur Purnima. 2-3 days. And I thought that was a little ambitious, but you know, the way the thought of going to America and soon, but the way we were talking, we were discussing that. I didn't think he was going to pass. I had that feeling he wasn't going to, and he was in that mood also. But he also told me that actually it seemed like I was going to pass away, and it was my last desire to come and participate in this Panchatattva installation, and I've done so now. Yeah. So if my health if I have a real downward turn and it feels like I might be going into coma, I might just go away. And it appears that that's what happened. So he's more fortunate than us. He's with